Hello and welcome to the One Piece Forum YouTube channel. My name is Zeek, and today we will be talking about the top 10 Marines voted upon by our forum. We are the One Piece Forum, like I said, opforum.net. If you would like to be involved in the next vote, please sign up, post your comments, look out for my threads. I'll be starting them each week, and let us know what you think and who should be rated where. Starting out, and this is a popularity contest. This is not a who's the strongest. This is more of who do we like, personally? Because me, well, I'll tell you my comments as we go. Number 10, we actually have a tie, so this is kind of cheating in a way. We do end up having more than 10. But we have Captain Toshiki, and we also have Vice Admiral Tsuru. And pardon me if I'm not saying any of the names right, but those two are very similar to me, actually. And if you skipped forward 50 years and showed me Toshiki and it looked just like Tsuru, I would not be surprised at all. And they're very similar. Both those two have a good sense of justice. Toshiki takes from Smoker in a sense that she understands that it's not always absolute, that sometimes you do have to kind of let things slide and work with the opposition in order to stop the greater evil between the two. And Tsuru, we've actually just recently really seen much of, and we see her traveling around with Singh Goku. And I think as fans, we look at her and we think there's going to be a lot more to do with her, just based off of her company and her respect that she's been shown. So I think that'll be great moving forward. I don't have much of an opinion on her, but I do like Toshiki. I think that she's going to end up being important when it comes to how the story will wrap up with some of our Straw Hats like Zoro. I know a lot of people have pretty much accepted that Zoro's going to end up with Toshiki, and I'm okay with that. I really am. I think she's a great character. Moving forward, on number 9, we have Oki Akainu. I'm torn on this one. I don't like him at all. I really don't. And I know that we're not supposed to like him and we're supposed to be rooting for Luffy to punch him in the face, and that does make him a good character. Oda does a great job of writing Akainu in a way that you would dislike him, but at the same time, recently, watching how he speaks with the world government, I think I've earned some more respect for him. I have not liked him previously, like I said, but you see that he's not trying to be anybody's puppet either. He does have a very absolute sense of justice, and really, him killing Ace and trying to kill Luffy makes a lot of sense from his standpoint. A lot of times we don't think of the perspective, and in his view, the pirates are the bad guys, in our view, the Marines is, because we've been given the Straw Hats as our protagonists, but Akainu, he really does what he believes is right. I don't think he ever does anything with malintent. I think it's all intended to be good. And it really is. On to number 8, we have Captain Kobe. I think it's interesting how far Kobe's come. I think if from the first episode you told people that he would be at captain status, which, if you remember, is where Smoker started at the beginning of the series. If you would have told us that Kobe would ever be on the same point that Smoker ever was on, I think a lot of people wouldn't believe you. I think they'd be really hard-pressed to view him as any type of physical threat towards... And Smoker's bringing down... I mean, he's well-known and revered amongst the pirates. So, I think Kobe's moving up there. I think the hockey that we saw him possess at Marine Ford will be important moving forward. And I really think eventually he'll be Fleet Admiral and we'll like him so much more. He went from a lame character design to after the time... Actually, right before the time skip, looking really decent, actually. So, I'm very curious to see where Oda goes with him. Number 7, and I think this would be higher if people thought of him, and they should because it's been so recent, but we have Don Quixote Rocinante, and he was an undercover Marine, spoiler alert, obviously if you're watching this video, there's many spoilers. He was an undercover Marine, and I think a lot of us forget that he was actually a Marine, and I think his character is so lovable. I think he has such a sad story. And if he were still alive, there's no doubt in my mind that Luffy would love him, and I think he'd be a Straw Hat. I think he would fit in with the crew really well, and I think that's partially why Law is drawn to Luffy, because I think that same carefree attitude that Rocinante has is very similar to Luffy's. Moving forward on to number 6. We have Inspector General Singh Goku. What is Inspector General? I'm still not entirely sure, but he's a former fleet admiral. His powers were amazing. He pretty much turns into this Buddhist monk. If you've ever watched Naruto, it reminded me very much to the Palm style godlike ability. I think we will see more of him. I don't think we're going to see as much as we'd like because it's always about the new generation. But he does come in at number 6, only this much behind our number 5, Kuzan Aokiji. Alright, and Kuzan is a former admiral, I understand, and some people might not agree with this, but he was a Marine, and he is still Marine at heart, in my opinion. You watch him stop Doflamingo in order to save Smoker, and his general mentality, he is a Marine at heart. He really is. We've seen him before. He's a very relaxed character. I think a lot of people in the comments posted that his relaxed attitude is really what they like about him. He's so opposite of Akainu. I mean, Magma and Ice opposite. But he's so opposite in the sense that he's so relaxed and he has such a loose sense. He's let the Straw Hats go once or twice. When he met the Straw Hats, he was very relaxed towards them in general. He's just an impressive character. I think we will see more with him. Whatever's happening with the Blackbeard saga, I'm very interested because we're going to have to explore all of Blackbeard and what's been going on. We're going to get his backstory and we're going to figure out what in the world Kuzan is doing with Blackbeard, and that's going to be amazing, amazing. There's going to be live reactions everywhere. Moving forward to number 4, we have Borsellino, better known as Kizaru. I think, once again, we have a laid-back personality, and I think viewers of the show and myself, we really like that relaxed attitude. I think it's a very relaxed show in general. There's fighting, there's sad moments, everything else. But overall, Luffy and them, they just want to chill. Luffy's ultimate goal is to chill and be free. And I think that's why we like characters like Kizaru. And I think we've gotten to see so little of him that we want to see more. And his character design's hilarious. We all love all of his wrinkles. I mean, I can't quite make the same face, but it is great. His devil fruit power is amazing. I think we're all curious to how they're going to combat that. We've seen Marco combat it, and obviously Haki gives you a little bit of an advantage against Logias, but I think he's going to be interesting moving forward. And I think his personality really seems to me like he may end up betraying the Marines. That's just my guess, but we'll see. I love the guy, though. He's very relaxed. His character design is great. His devil fruit ability, while not genius, because I mean lights, it was going to be one of the Logias, but the way it's been used and demonstrated is excellent. Moving on to number 3, and this is amazing if you ask me, because we have not known him for very long, and he is he was essentially drafted. I don't know how many people have skipped over that, but they were forced essentially into the military because there was a draft held thanks to Akainu, and he is our new Admiral Isho Fujitora. He is interesting. He really is. I think once again, he's debatably laid back. He's really more of a chance and fate kind of guy. He's blind and he's this much of an awesome fighter. His ability to control gravity is interesting. We've seen him go up against top level people right away being brought in. He's had more fights than some of the admirals and some of the key characters of the show recently, especially. And his battle with Akainu, now this battle, don't get too hyped if you haven't seen anything, but his conversation with Akainu was very intense, and we've seen his brand of justice, and I don't even know if he's going to stay with the Marines very long, just based off of the fact that he was drafted in and that he's already had such a conflict. Moving on to number 2, and this is where it really gets tough for me, because number 2 and number 1 are interchangeable for me, and I actually think I would put number 2 at number 1, and that is Vice Admiral Smoker. I think from the beginning, I think the moment you see Smoker, I don't think there's been a more American character in anime. I don't. A lot of times we argue what the ethnicity of anime characters is, and Oda has done a great job of actually having a very diverse group. He's talked before about the ethnicities of the Straw Hats, if they were in our universe, and they're all over the world. But Smoker, he really embodies America to me. He had the motorcycle at first when we saw him. He's always smoking. He's got the cool kind of jacket. He's very, I'm trying to think how to put it. If you put Bruce Willis in a wig, because he has no more hair, we know. But if you put Bruce Willis in a wig, I think he would play Smoker in a live action, and I think he would be amazing at it. And he's such an interesting character. I think he makes all the decisions that I would make personally as a fan, because I put myself in his shoes a lot. I've always tried to, whenever someone's considered an antagonist, I try to put myself in their shoes, and he has been in some very touchy situations, and he's always kind of chosen right. You see him fight alongside Law, you see him work with Luffy, you see him do all these different things, and he always knows his boundaries too. I mean, he went up against, he didn't go up against, but when he ran into Dragon, he wasn't foolish enough to think that he could bring Dragon in. And he's a very realistic guy. He's very entertainable, he's very likable. We got to see him do a body switch, which is always fun. And he's just a good character. He really is. Moving on to our number one spot. And this should be obvious by now, by process of elimination, who this number one is. And once again, I have to resort back to how chill our fan base must be, because he's the chillest of the chill Marines, and that is former Vice Admiral, might still hold the position, but currently focusing on instructing Monkey D. Garp. The D, the will of the D, they really bring in the best characters. Honestly, they do. I think everyone will love Dragon the more and more we see him. I think they already do. Garp is like I said, he might be my second favorite Marine behind Smoker, but he's in everyone's list. I don't think, going through the voting, I don't think anyone didn't have Garp in their list. And I just think he's excellent. I really do. I think you look at Garp, he's a very relaxed personality. He's kind of weird. He falls asleep. He's very similar to Luffy. And I think we all give him props at Marineford when Luffy's coming up to save Ace, and Garp does have a duty. He has a duty to stop Luffy to a degree. And he stops. He freezes up in that final moment of character. We see him allow Luffy to hit him. And I think it's just amazing. And I think his power is through the roof. I've had a debate with some of our fellow OP Forum members about how he would do against other Marines. But I think he's elite. I think he's way above Admiral. I think he's right. He could be a Fleet Admiral if he wanted to be. He was the one to challenge Roger back in the day. I think he's a very interesting character. I think he's one of the most powerful characters in One Piece, especially without any Devil Fruit abilities, unless he's been sandbagging us on that. But he has no Devil Fruit abilities, and he was the only one to really go toe-to-toe with Roger, and I would have loved to have seen him interact with Whitebeard, but it was not his time to shine. But he is a great character, and I think we'll see more of him moving forward. He's just so likable, and he's universally liked. It's not like some people really like Akainu, some people really don't, and he's a very polarizing character. I don't know how you don't like Garp. I really don't think there's a way you can't like him, and it's just, he's a great character. He really is. He has a good sense of justice. He does do his job. He's been a great instructor, and this is one thing too. A lot of people, and I think Akainu would fall under this category, they're great fighters. They're strong people, good at what they do, and this happens with athletes a lot as well. But they can't teach. They can't show how to do what they do. And Garp has already taken two utter scrubs, and with power scaling, they're the scrubbiest of the scrubs at the time, Kobe and Helmeppo, and put them both as respectable Marines. So much so that they're in charge of others. We have, like I said, I think Kobe will eventually be Fleet Admiral. I really do. I think the only way this series ends properly is with a time skip to where it shows us Kobe as a Fleet Admiral and really powerful. I think he's going to be Garp level. I really do. And with Luffy being Roger level, and I think those two will be rivals moving forward, and it'll be very Garp-Roger style. And it'll be good. I think that's my hope for the ending. And I thank you guys for watching this video. Once again, if you would like to be a part of voting next time, please go to opforum.net. We'll have the link in the bottom in case you can't, for whatever reason, understand what I'm telling you to go to. But it's a great forum with great members, and we appreciate all the votes that you guys gave us. We're going to try to include the comments, hopefully. And thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, whatever you need to do. And thank you. Once again, I'm Zeke, and goodbye.